Now, while there was plenty to celebrate following Clare's big win over Waterford in the Munster Senior Hurling Championship at Zimmer Biomet Páirc Chíosóg last Sunday, not every supporter went home happy. Concerns were raised about facilities at the ground, particularly around access to toilets during the match, with some fans describing the situation as not good enough for a venue hosting major championship games. And joining me on the line now to talk about his experience is Clare supporter Derek Clune. Derek, good morning to you.
Good morning, Alan. Good morning.
Thanks very much for being with us. So you were at the Clare-Waterford game, high-scoring game, great game and a great win for Clare. But you want to mention issues of the toilet facilities. Tell us about your experience.
Well, the first thing, Alan, I'd just like to say is it's a fantastic place to go for a game. The pitch is in the centre of the town. There's a great buzz around the town. Zimmer Biomet Páirc Chíosóg is a great buzz there, and we had a fantastic match and a fantastic result. So you'll be saying you're going home, Clare supporters going home happy. But I felt coming out of the pitch on Sunday that there's a serious issue with toilet facilities, especially at one section of the field, which is the north stand, which is closest to the east terrace, if you understand what I'm saying. So because the pitch is divided into north, east, west ends, the east end is blocked off, so people in the east end can't get into the north stand and vice versa. So at half time, people from the north stand obviously wanted to use toilet facilities. There's a toilet on the bank on the east end, but that was cordoned off because only the east end people on the east end could use it. And now I have to say that them toilet facilities could do with an upgrade as well. So all they had for the people at that section of the field was portable cabins and temporary toilets, which are wholly inadequate for the crowd of people that were there. And a lot of both males now, not females, finished up going over to the boundary wall to urinate up against it because there was the lack of a proper facility. And I just felt that Clare Chíosóg Park, Zimmer Biomet Chíosóg Park is our county grounds. Every club in the county now has good facilities, good toilet facilities, and I think it behoves the Clare GA and the Munster Council for our county grounds to have proper permanent facilities on the grounds for large occasions.
Derek, it's not something you expect when you're talking about a big crowd like that at a big occasion like a championship match, to see people having to urinate up against a boundary wall, which feels a bit like a scene from games just in general of the past. How disappointing was that to see at a modern championship match?
It was very disappointing. I remember when I was doing a bit of hurling, you'd chuck out on the side of the ditch. You wouldn't even dressing rooms, and there was no facilities. But that's all changed. But for the county grounds to still be having that kind of facilities, I think is I won't say shameful, but it's a blight. It's a blight on what was otherwise a fantastic day. And at the back of that stand, there is ample space. There's a big green space at the back of the east end where that's part of the grounds, and there's no problem with space that they can't have proper modern facilities there for the public. And I think it's something that obviously with a big game again this Sunday week, it's not going to be done by then. But I think they need to start planning going forward to enhance and have proper permanent facilities for all captains, because it's not good. It doesn't look good. It just doesn't look good from a Clare GA point of view.
No, and I just be beyond inconvenience, Derek. Does it raise questions or issues around safety, hygiene, and even basic dignity for supporters, as well as I'm thinking of families who might be there if it might put them off going to future games there?
Exactly, like you know, young children. Seeing that kind, that happening, and it's like I say, it's a serious health and safety issue, and at the end of the day, all right, before the match, everyone, the town is buzzing, the pubs are packed, everyone has a few pints, so at half time there is going to be a rush out to toilet facilities, and it's very off-putting, and I just say for families, for young children, and the health and safety aspects of it as well. you so many people doing it, not just one. It's so many people doing it. I think it definitely needs to be taken seriously and sorted out going forward. For next year, it's not going to happen this year.
And Derek, given that I'm sure that there was, it was obviously a big crowd there, I'm wondering what kind of impact it had on the crowd. Were other people? Did you hear other complaints or other concerns raised or about that situation?
There was a lot of talk about it on the way coming back in. Obviously, going out, you don't know what you were facing, but coming back in, when people saw what was available to them, there was definitely a lot of anger and a lot of spoken anger. Now, I don't know if anybody else got onto this issue. I suppose people forgot about it after the win and everyone was celebrating, but it kind of stuck. It stuck with me, and that's why I said I highlighted.
Yeah, no, and grateful that you came on to highlight this. And we did get in touch with Clare GAA and Munster GAA in relation to this issue, and Munster GAA have provided us with a statement on it, Derek. So look, I'll just bring that to you and the listeners and get your thoughts on it. So Munster GAA say, we would like to confirm that all toilet blocks were in operation in Zimmer Biomet Páirc Chíosóg on Sunday. For all major games in Ennis, each section of the ground is sectioning separately for crowd control and safe capacity reasons. As your listener has rightly pointed out, access was restricted to a toilet block at the back corner of the East and North Terrace because this toilet block serves the East Terrace crowd only. There is a permanent toilet blocks for both male and females for the North Terrace at the opposite side of the grounds towards the West Terrace end. There are additional portaloos and urinal facilities deployed into the grounds for the major games each year. In all the terrace sections of the grounds, the practice pitch at the Aldi side of the grounds is where the majority of the additional temporary facilities are located for the North Terrace crowd. The current permanent facilities are more than sufficient for Clare GAA's local games, but additional resources are required for the Munster Senior Hurling Championship games. Following a post-event meeting after Sunday's game, we recognise and acknowledge that additional signage and more temporary toilet facilities will be needed in the North Terrace section of the ground. Thank you for bringing this matter to our attention. We will be looking to address this issue for future championship games in Ennis. So Derek, they've taken it on board and it looks like they're going to do something about it, which presumably you are pleased with?
Well, I am pleased, but I still feel that there's ample room and ample space for the year 2026 to build a proper modern, proper toilet facilities for patrons. I don't accept bringing in porter cabins and like the amount that they had last Sunday was completely inadequate, and the crowd next week will be bigger for the Limerick game. There'll be 3,000 or 4,000 extra people for that game. So I would still maintain that in the year for 2026 that there is ample space, and all they need to do is spend a bit of money and put proper permanent facilities. The toilet that is on the east end that they are talking, the permanent toilet that's on the east end, that toilet definitely needs to be enhanced because it's not, the facilities there are not good either. The toilet at the west end of the north end is fairly new, that's good. But the one up in the bank on the east end is not fit for purpose either, in my mind.
Well, Derek, look, we appreciate you coming on to highlight this. I'll be interested to hear from other listeners who were at the match. Did they have a problem with this or see it as an issue as you did? And I'll be interested also to see what happens on foot of the Limerick game. As you say, there'll be a bigger crowd at that again, and whether we hear any issues highlighted on the show in the aftermath of that. But Derek, thanks very much for joining us, and we'll see what happens with it going forward. Derek Clune there on the toilet situation at Zimmer Biomet Páirc Chíosóg for the Clare Waterford game.